We opened in 1995. It was opened by the Presentation Sisters and funded by them because a bit of research was done with the primary and secondary school, and they realised that probably the greatest gap in trying to break the cycle of poverty was with the parents. So if you remember back to the late 90s, there was an ESRI report done, and I suppose it talked about different areas in Dublin in particular that, well, there was a big difficulty around about, you know, what kind of education they had. And this area here was considered one of the areas where there was low education attainment and high unemployment. So we were in the right area, but we knew that from our schools anyway. So that was the original aim of the centre, was to break the cycle of poverty by providing second chance education to people. So I suppose then over the years, because our whole aim is to meet the needs of the local community, anything that came up as a result of what people said to us, we tried to, you know, shape into a course or a programme. So today, I suppose really we have kind of, well, I suppose it's emerging into three sections. One, we have the kind of specific accredited programmes, and the funding for that is supported from the Department of Education through the ETBs now. And then we have what we call the community education. And then of course a big kind of aspect now in Ireland and in Dublin in particular at this stage are the new Irish, the people that have language issues. Some of these have education issues as well, some of them don't, but they all come because they need to improve their language, whether it's to provide for their children and understand their children and their needs in school, or for education, or for employment purposes.
You're going to say the important thing here is telling me where you found this information.
I've been teaching with Warrenmount for over 3 years now. I started on a ESOL course, level 3, English for speakers of other languages. And then I got involved in the level 4 courses, so work experience, customer service. I've also designed my own programs, one in mindfulness, an introduction to mindfulness, and one on a positive living program.
The course is quite comprehensive. It covers growing vegetables, compost making, weed control, pests and diseases, crop rotation, how to fertilise your crops, and how to practice just all-round good practices when it comes to feeding soil and soil nutrition. I have the most lovely students in my course. They're from very mixed backgrounds with different learning styles and learning abilities. Very mixed, really couldn't ask for a better bunch of people. So see that we're very lucky in that we have this fabulous polytunnel, which is like a real blessing. The outside space is small, but still we've managed to sow garlic. We've done spinach, lettuce, we have fruit bushes, so yeah, no, we managed very well, and I say we're blessed with the polytunnel.
So we teach 8 modules over about an 18-month period. I like to start, if we can at all, when students are starting, it's nice if they start when we're at the child development module, because they get a good kind of background and they get a good grounding. With childcare, if they start with child development. We do child health and wellbeing, which is more practical. We do school age childcare, which is focused on after school care and maybe breakfast clubs and homework clubs and things like that. We do early childhood education and play, early childhood education and practice. So at the moment the girls are just finishing up on their communications module, so they were doing a meeting, they had to set up a staff meeting, and so they each had a topic to discuss and make decisions on. So that's part of the practical. The communications and personal factors modules are very practical.
I teach art and design here. It's the QQI qualification, level 3 and level 4. And at the moment we're doing a ceramic course, level 3, looking at a process called slab building. They're new to clay, most of the students, so they're familiarising themselves with clay and its properties. But also part of the project is to design their own sculptural piece. So they're bringing in the art elements there. We're looking at form, shape, line, and so on. They each have to research 2 designers, stroke artists, to inform their pieces. So most of them have looked at an architect or a designer and a visual artist.
Yeah, a centre like this it's a meeting place. It's a space for people to come, to meet people of their own nationality that they may not be aware are already living in Ireland, but also to integrate and meet people from other nationalities. We often have food from around the world days, cultural events where people will stand up and present a little 5-minute piece on their culture. Always very inspiring, very interesting, not just for the students but for all of the people who work here, because it is a dynamic area. It's Dublin city centre, so we're constantly having new influx of people from all sorts of countries around the world. So there's always somebody from a new country, from a new location, has always got something interesting to say.